Potential noise issues at a new restaurant discussed, a change in rules for secondhand dealers, and it's time to protect your pets from rabies on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, March 27th, 2012. I'm Sarah Colvin. Very soon, restaurant goers will again be able to dine and drink inside the building once known as the Asa Burse House on Main Street, Hyannis. Crews have been hard at work renovating and improving the historic property. Provo Brazil received a license to serve food, alcohol, and provide entertainment at the newly renovated facility. In the past 10 years, that site has gone through many changes and has served as a nightclub of sorts. Before granting the license Monday morning, the authority asked attorney Dan Creedon about plans to ensure things would not get out of hand or too noisy once Provo opens its doors.
If my clients receive any complaints and any notice of any complaints, I'd like to think that they will rectify them without it having to come here.
No doubt in my mind about that.
And I think that I've worked with these two gentlemen for a short amount of time, but I believe that they're of character that they would do that.
You described it as upscale. In my mind, upscale, you'd be out talking to your neighbors on a regular basis. You wouldn't have to wait for a complaint to come in. I think that's the difference in the gin mill and this upscale. The expectation is the management is at a much higher level.
And I think I think Mr. De Oliveira already indicated that he has been out to just talk to the neighbors. Obviously, they're not operating yet, but initially, before opening, and I think that will continue.
I think that there is a responsibility for ongoing contact, particularly in a situation with no parking, not a single parking space.
That's right.
There's room for lots of potential negative aspects for the neighbors. Having said that, there's an awful lot of support out there in the street. Everybody's very happy to see what's gone into this facility, the way it looks. The proposal that has come forward.
I've had several conversations with Mr. De Oliveira about the opening of this business, and I feel fairly confident that what they're presenting is what might happen. I might also suggest that if there is going to be some type of change in the entertainment that they're offering here this morning uses like a Columbo's type or Black Cat type entertainment, that we would suggest to him that he talk to us first before he decides to make any changes in an entertainment style, so that we don't run into a problem like we did with the past licensee that was in the establishment, where they came in before the board and they said they're going to run this business and it's only going to be dining, et cetera, and then I watched it morph over 6 weeks from a restaurant to where the principal started to struggle with the fact that he was paying a high lease and then started to bring in different entertainment. So perhaps as a way to help with the owners now, that they speak to us before they try and change any type of entertainment, that might alleviate some of the concerns.
The authority ultimately approved the license, but not without one final warning.
I would just remind you again that Mr. Berman's concern about if there were complaints, it would take a long time to act. But it wouldn't take a long time by statute if we decided that there was enough evidence and police activity to lower the hours of entertainment to 11 p.m. It just has to be posted for a reasonable amount of time, and we'll go forward with the entertainment being restricted without any continuances. So we could take very prompt action if we found out that the noise, after 11 p.m. is disturbing the neighborhood at any length, or if it's causing police activity.
Provo Brazil is on track to open this spring. The board also said yes to changes to rules governing secondhand dealers. Those regulations have been adjusted over the past few years in an attempt to quell sales of stolen goods, as well as to help police track and recover stolen items. The changes were outlined Monday morning prior to the board's vote.
As you know, we brought before you a couple of years ago to make some changes in the regulations, and for the most part it's worked out really well. I asked to have go through just one particular month to give you an idea of some of the things that we deal with and the amount of volume of things that we deal with. Going back into August of 2011, the major people that take in secondhand items, there was over 1,000 94 transactions or people that came into these different secondhand dealers and sold items. And that only includes 1 day of GameStop. GameStop on a 1 day it takes in over 114 items. During that same time period, within the town of Barnstable, as reported as stolen, there was over $200,000 worth of either merchandise or monies and things of that nature stolen within the town during that same time period. The changes that we're asking to have made, I have here as well a couple of binders that Mary Ellen, the secretary for the detectives, keeps track of everything that comes in. And these are just two. One of them is GameStop and the other one is Spindle City. And in looking at over 1,000 people coming in one particular month, if you want to add that out to 12 months, it's quite a few people. If you look at the amount of money, we have one person that's dealing with all this different information that's coming in every week. The people that are reporting electronically, it works out really well because the information comes in electronically. She can add it into a database, and the database is made available to everybody within the police department to either look at items that come in or look at photographs that have come in. Unfortunately, there's a few people that have secondhand licenses that aren't reporting electronically, and that really slows things down. Of the secondhand dealers that report electronically, there's only a few that don't. And considering the amount of money that these particular establishments are generating on a monthly basis, in our mind, it's not too much to ask that they report these items electronically. We're also asking that the way the ordinance was written originally is that a photograph be taken of the items, and it didn't say individually. The problem was that some of the dealers were taking photographs of items just as a lump, and it was very difficult to look at the photographs and figure out which was which. When they're taken individually, as I have here as an example of Spindle City, it allows us to either show a potential victim an item and say, is this possibly your item, or be able to look at a description that's in a report and equate it back to a photograph. In order to get that information in a timely manner, it needs to be transported or transmitted electronically so that we can look at it right away and have the ability to match it up with any crime that may have happened in the recent past. And as I said, for the most part, everybody's already doing that, but this is just a means to make sure that everybody's on board with that. Under 6E on the consignment, we've found that there's been a few places that are trying to get around the regulation a little bit by claiming that things are being held in consignment, where they're only holding the property, and once it's sold, that then they're paying the people for the different items that they're taking in on consignment. We're not asking for you to change the definition of a consignment. All we're asking is that if somebody is using that word, but actuality, when there's any type of gain, profit, etc., it really is a sale. And this is a way for us to just make sure that they're ensuring with the regulations and that it's being recorded. The problem is somebody may take in a set of golf clubs and they may say it's consignment. It may sit there for 6 months and we don't know that it's even there, and then that particular item may have been stolen. We have no way to know that it's even there. This way it gives us an opportunity to match things up.
Those new regulations will immediately go into effect. Spring rabies clinics are taking place this weekend in several Cape towns, including right here in Barnstable. Vaccinating your pet against the deadly rabies virus is not only a way to protect your pet, it's also required by law. The Cape Cod Rabies Task Force and the Cape Cod Veterinary Medical Association are hosting clinics this year. Pet owners can receive a rabies vaccination for dogs, cats, and ferrets for only $10. In Barnstable, clinics are being held at the Barnstable Animal Hospital on Airport Road from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Also at the Animal General Veterinary Clinic on Communication Way from 9 to 11 for cats and 11 to 2 for dogs. A clinic is also taking place in neighboring Yarmouth at the Veterinary Associates of Cape Cod on Commonwealth Avenue. Cats can be vaccinated from 10 to 11:30, dogs from 11:30 to 12:30. All those clinics taking place on Saturday. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.